we're here with festival coordinator, organizer extraordinaire, and musician, and also filmmaker, and all sorts of things. Film reviewer, YouTube channel owner and runner, and recorder of many things, Paul Blom. Hi, Paul.
Hey, Jacques. How's it going,
How
man?
are you doing?
No, cool. Not tired and busy, but yeah, what can you do?
How's this festival been in terms of organizing? I know last time we spoke, it was about the SA Horror Fest last year, and there was a lot of last minute sort of rearranging of things that had to happen because of governmental issues and bureaucracy. It's the first festival of the year, correct?
Yeah, first one is Sound on Screen. Usually this time of year, sort of March, April.
Yeah.
And then Celluloid Science Fiction Fantasy Animation Festival is around September-ish. And then obviously Horror Fest over Halloween season.
Yeah.
But yeah, like we just said, last year I had some film and publications board stuff that we had to, because I had all new laws and legalities that they have into attached to film festivals, which costs money and lots of extra time to register and to submit the stuff. And then, but I mean, there should be less of an issue, because obviously horror films have far more extreme stuff.
Yeah.
So a music film festival is not anything to worry about for the faint-hearted. There are a couple of things, just couple little no big deal bits in there that might shock some 13-year-olds, but not me.
Yeah, okay. So that's at least it sounds like the festival year has started off on a good note, at least in terms of the organizing part of it. But
yes, but just the amount of movies this time, it's added extra weight on us. I mean, there were just so many cool movies. We tend to kind of limit ourselves. Okay, we're gonna have a dozen movies or 10 movies or whatever, but it was just, I mean, and there were ones that were left out that we would have liked to include.
Yeah.
And then movies that we picked, but then they had to withdraw for various reasons. Some of them get distribution, or because this year it's mainly a streaming festival. Some of them they can't. They're only allowed to have theatrical screenings of the movies for now.
Oh, okay.
So some of them had to go, which I'm very disappointed by. But we'll see if we can roll them over to next year. Because I mean, these kind of movies, it's stuff that people. I mean, you don't go look for them, and it won't find you unless it's on Netflix or any kind of one of the streaming services that you own. And none of these movies you'll find on those. It's virtually none of these, and probably in the next year or so, probably not either. So it's very cool that we can get. I mean, for us, it's a thrill to kind of curate this set of movies that just doesn't screen anywhere else. I mean, not just here, other parts of the world as well. These are all brand new movies that are still doing the film festival circuit. So you can't just jump on some streaming service and watch it. I mean, unless you go pirate routes. But obviously we try to keep these things as secure as possible, so that any leaks don't come from our side. So but I'm sure, nowadays it's very hard to keep a lid on things.
Yeah, I mean, look, I did as part of the research go look on IMDb for like some of the film names, and I could find a lot of them, but a lot of them are just like, this film title does not exist.
Yeah,
we don't even know that this film has been made, so we can't tell you anything about it.
It's either so new or so independent that they don't even stick it on. I mean, you have to, if you have an IMDb. I don't even know. Do you need to pay for an IMDb account?
I think for a professional one, I think you do. I don't know how it works in terms of actually loading movies.
So I think some filmmakers, I think they just decide, hey, I don't care. So they don't. But then some people, like, they reckon if music isn't on Spotify, it doesn't exist. Same thing. If it's there's lots of music out there. There are lots of movies out there. Like I usually say, I mean, there's some movies that I still have on VHS that hasn't been released on DVD or Blu-ray, let alone streaming. Some of these movies just just gone and
fade away.
Yeah, so you just sort of assume, no, it's fine, I'll watch it. And even with some of the streaming services, it's not there permanently.
No.
I mean, they've got their licenses for X amount of time, and they don't notify you about it. It's just one day you go there, hey, this was on my watch list, and it's gone now, and that's it. So now, where are you going to find it now?
And your watch list is like, wait, what movie? There was no movie like this.
Yeah, and I mean, currently, our paid streaming services, we've got Netflix, we've got Disney Plus, which we mainly got for the X-Files and The Simpsons and Family Guy and American Dad, not the Marvel and the Mickey Mouse stuff.
Yeah,
I know you like your Marvels.
I'm a bit over it. It's run its course a little bit now, I think.
Yeah,
because it's been 15 years.
Three movies a year. How many movies a year do they? It's like become a bit of a sausage factory, a sausage machine.
Yeah, it's
churning out.
It's been a while, and like I think that there's definitely reasons for me why I'm kind of like, okay, now I'm kind of like putting a bow on it, and it's like if it comes out and if it comes on a streaming service, then I'll watch it. But otherwise, I'm not going to go out of my way to go see something like that. Which is why it's great having a festival like this, because there's a whole bunch of stuff that you're never gonna see.
Yeah.
Like it's not gonna come up and sell itself to you like a Marvel movie would, because obviously these
and I mean
these much smaller budget in terms of marketing.
Yeah. And exactly like us as well. It's trying to reach people who might be interested in it. It's not an easy task. We know that you've been an advocate for all our festivals for years, and it's so cool that people appreciate it and sort of spread the word. We always appreciate that.
I think reputation also goes a long way, and I mean you do have a track record of running good festivals, being really invested in the kinds of films that you screen. I mean, you're very much invested in horror films, and being a musician yourself, you obviously have very strong ties and loyalties towards music and bands and so on.
I mean, just like all the festivals we do, it's stuff we like. So it's not like we're not just going to decide. It's not like it's that commercial that that we can cash in on it. It's I'm not. It's like, for instance, I won't do a superhero Marvel type festival, although that could slot into Cellujoid when it does. But I mean, that doesn't happen so frequently. But it's something that we really need to be into, and then try and spread that to the rest of the country. Well, the rest of Cape Town when it's in cinema, and the rest of the country for the streaming section of the festivals.
I mean, it's also like those other films that you were mentioning just now don't really need, a small independent.
No one's going to bother to come watch.
To go and
those big movies. No one's going to
see this underdog film.
And no one's going to come watch some big Marvel movie at our festival. They'll go watch it in the mall and then go do whatever else they want to do there at the same time. So we have the odd, interesting little movies.
Yeah, so just in terms of like you were saying, there's a whole lot of movies. So how long has it taken you to whittle it down to the 40 plus films, things that you're screening? 53.
Actually, now, probably now since today, 54.
Oh wow, okay.
Because we managed to get one movie that we might actually, there'll be one cinema screening, because we couldn't get any cinema slots this year, so it's all going to be streaming.
Okay.
Except for one brand new movie called Spinning Gold.
Okay.
It's about like the guy who started Casablanca Records.
Okay.
The band Kiss was on there for forever. It was one of his first bands. He started the record company for that. It was Kiss, Donna Summer, was sort of disco. He had like disco acts and Kiss. That's how this guy started this record label, and the guys from Parliament, that funk band.
Oh, so yes,
very, very, very interesting story. So we chatted. Well, it took a while to get it sorted, but now we need to lock a date. We don't have a date now, but we're looking at the festival. The festival runs from the 31st of March till the 9th of April.
Yeah.
And this Spinning Gold starts on the 14th. So then we're going to try and do it a week earlier, so that it's the last weekend of Sound on Screen. We'll then have Spinning Gold have a screening for that. So I don't know if we'll be able to get it at the Label or if it's going to be at one of the other Cape Town cinemas, probably a new Metro. But all that info will be forthcoming.
Okay, great. Yeah.
But you asked how long it took to narrow it down. Well, it's I mean, just like the Horror Fest, I mean, the submissions are open like across the year, so we sort of watch them as we go along. Sometimes you can't watch too many of them like too far in advance because you just don't have time. But then sort of 3 months leading up to the festival, now you have to start packing them in, and then oh man, this is such a cool one. Oh, that's a cool one. That's a cool one. But sometimes, I mean, the people submit, they don't, for the most part, they don't submit crap. Sometimes there's a bit of a dubious one that it's like their first movie and it just doesn't cut.
Yeah.
Just doesn't cut the quality that we need, because we do want to maintain the high quality of selections. So then, so it's probably the last 3 months, I would guess. But I mean, it's just the constant flow. So I can't. I have to like calculate exactly, but I think it was about 3 months, and just to start whittling them down, it's a task. And then I've got them in these columns, and you have to like weigh this one against this one, and that one is like, maybe you have to pick this one because this one is a bit shorter, because you can only fit that much in there. And I mean, some of the we've got 53 titles, but 20 of those are feature films.
Yeah.
And then the rest are short films and sort of medium size. It's not exactly a feature film, so it's like 40 minutes, 30 minutes. So then we compile those that match into batches. So we've got like 15 short films of just all kinds of weird stuff, but interesting, cool, strange, weird, just a nice variety. And then otherwise we've got like 2, 3, 4 different types of movies that fit together. Like one's sort of dance orientated, another one is about improvisation, about people improvising stuff. One that's about sort of migrants, sort of kind of a border issue thing, guys that come across from Africa into Sicily, and 2 guys from Lebanon want to get into Spain. So we matched those 2 together. There's a whole bunch of those, and then other movies we just to fit all the short films everywhere, we kind of pair them up with some of the movies that it's sort of in that vein. Like one we have called Gravel Road. It's about an Aborigine guy who's got a rock band, and they're touring through through Australia. And so the other Australian movie we have is a short called Inn of the Damned, like a narrative story about these 3 guys wanting to get a drummer for their band. So we stick that in the front, so the 2 Aussie movies are like together. So it's feature film and a little 10-minute short added. There's a couple of instances like that, just to get everything in there. And man, it wasn't easy.
I mean, because it's quite a varied it's quite a very varied lineup. I mean, you've got, in terms of musical genres and then nationalities, so you've got instrumental guitar, you've got garage rock, Afro house, hip hop, CHORO, which I'm gonna have to wait for the documentary to see how that is pronounced.
That's classical music. It's CHORO. It's like Brazilian guitars and stuff, and so they're doing classical songs in that style. So we've got Afro house. There's a musical from the Ukraine. There's metal. There's punk, folk. Like I said, improvisation is a documentary on avant-garde music in France. It's endless. It's almost every genre you can think of. It's reggae.
Yeah.
Amazon Rasta. A guy in the Amazon is a Rasta. It's just such a cool bunch of movies. It's sort of, it's frustrating just kind of to reach people and tell them you have to watch this shit. It's so cool. But that's why I mean, this year we just kind of, it's so difficult convincing people to watch streaming beyond the services that they use. And sorry, I was talking about the services that we do have is Netflix, Disney Plus. Then I went off on a Marvel rant. We have Showmax for just regular, if you just want to watch something regular. And then they've got HBO. So we managed to watch Last of Us on that, which was cool. So I like Showmax for the HBO stuff. And then we also have Amazon Prime, which every month I'm going to cancel it, and then I forget, and it pops up, oh, it's been renewed. Okay, for another month. So sometimes there's stuff on there that I could watch, but there's just too many streaming services, and like I said, sometimes then you're looking for something and you can't find it anywhere.
It's like, sorry, this movie is no longer available.
We had Apple Plus as well, but I just had like Sonia bought me an iPad, so we got like a 3-month freebie with that. So we watched a bunch of cool stuff, and then it expired, and we said, okay, well, when the Servants next season starts, then we'll get it again. That M. Night Shyamalan series, which is very cool. So so I guess you can rent stuff, I guess, through Apple, or even on YouTube you can rent movies. But dollars, it's going to get a bit expensive hobby if you just keep renting movies constantly, and you've got your services that you paid for. TV used to be free. People didn't even pay for the old SABC TV license. They complained about that, but they end up paying 6 times that in all their streaming services. So
like they pay at least that for each of the streaming services, honestly.
But I guess it's the principle.
It's
the principle. Oh yeah, let's
back to the festival.
We like to waffle.
You are a very busy human being. Like, I don't know how you manage to do all the things that you actually get around to doing. It's like,
I just have to. I'll probably die if I don't. So it's just the way it is.
Well, it's
what
good for us.
Were we talking about?
We were talking about the different musical genres represented in the festival, and I mean there is a lot of it. Now, I mean, I did mention as well at the beginning that you are a musician. I think most people who know you from that side of things will know you now from Terminatryx, which is your band that you've got with Sonia. And you've got a number of like band members, like regular band members, and that's been going for a while. And before that, it was Voice of Destruction, which is sort of like the South Africa's first big metal band that like went off touring the world.
Well, Europe.
Well,
just sort of early mid-90s, I guess Europe is the world. So I mean, we were, there was a slot where we were possibly going to go play the Milwaukee Metal Fest, because the guy was managing a band that we played with in London while we were V.O.D. Okay, well, long story short, V.O.D. went over mid-90s, went over to the UK to record our Bloedrivier album, and then we toured Europe with a Swedish band Catatonia and the Norwegian band In the Woods, and then on this tour, or was just before the tour, a guy was there with the band, and he was the manager. I can't remember the name of the band, but we played with them in London at the Borderline, I think, and at the Bradford Rio in Yorkshire. And I think he was one of the guys organizing the Milwaukee Metal Festival, which is quite a big metal festival back in the 90s. And so we were going to organize to go play there, but then that didn't happen. So we played Europe, toured the whole place from top to bottom. Czech Republic and Slovakia we played as well.
I mean, I was expecting to see a lot more metal or kind of rock on the sort of list of films, but I mean, you seem to have quite an eclectic taste Is it just because of the films, or because you like the music, or?
I love variety. I mean,
Hmm.
I love any kind of music and any kind of movie. It's just I have my favorites, but then everything else we love. So yeah, and I mean we just for this we didn't go out looking for anything. Sometimes we discovered like the Spinning Gold movie I told you about, the one about the guy who started the label Kiss and Donna Summer and all that. I mean I went after that to local distributors, but the rest are all just submissions. There was another one that was submitted, which was more metal based, but then that was one of the cases of they had to withdraw because of distribution reasons.
Okay.
Different territories. Like if they sign to someone, then these guys, you can't play here, you can't screen there. So there was a very interesting. What was the band's name? Oh, man, see, you watch the stuff months in advance, kind of becomes a bit of a blur. But it's a guy who was a housemate of Kurt Cobain. It's a doom band. Oh man, I'll remember once we're done. Sure. But yeah, that was a very cool, very cool documentary, and I'd love to have included it, but unfortunately we couldn't.
In terms of genre, I mean, this is like the festival's been going since 2010. Is that correct?
Yeah.
And I mean, I remember going to one of the first ones when it was still all of it was happening at the Labia in cinema.
I think that was when the Labia still had their their Long Street cinema at
I think so,
a lifestyle center. I think we screened it there. That was, I think, the first Celluloid was there as well. We did when we did District 9 and a bunch of other movies.
Yes.
I think that's where we had the first sound on screen.
Yeah. So I mean, it's been, this festival's been going for a long time, and I mean, you've also in that time there's been a lot of very interesting films. I mean, I remember the first time I saw Strapping Young Lad. It was the concert that you screened, and that was great. That like blew me away.
That was actually part of the X Fest.
Oh right, I forgot about that one.
Our X Fest Extreme Underground Film Festival, which we haven't had in a long time because that is just so difficult to get. I mean,
can you
Horror
imagine?
Horror Fest is niche enough, but now the X Fest with extreme and underground movies, that's just almost impossible to get.
Can you imagine trying to get that done with the current Film and Publication Board?
Yeah, the triple X Fest will not go through.
I can't see it. I can't see it happening.
No, that was great sort of guerrilla days. But now what we did was we had an extreme music edition of the X Fest. So that's where we screened, and it was in the big cinema in the Labia. A couple of people, and it was we cranked that thing up.
I know. I remember it was great.
It was cool.
Like there was an Einstürzen in the Neubauten documentary as well.
Yeah, Throbbing Gristle documentary. Punk Rock Holocaust.
Oh wow, yeah.
Bunch of cool stuff.
Yeah.
So then because those were movies and stuff that we got that didn't really fit anywhere, but it was definitely I got a couple of them for the X Fest, and I said, hang on, they're like 2-3 music related things. Let me try and get some extra extreme music thing. Just make this strictly an extreme music X Fest.
Yeah.
And then after that, it was a case of, well, I mean, there isn't a music film festival. No. Just like we started the Horror Fest because there wasn't a horror film festival. We started Celluloid because there wasn't a science fiction film festival. So it was just obvious. We just did that. And that's how on screen came. And obviously, that is just anything music. Yeah. Narrative, documentaries, concert films, musicals, anything that's music related. One thing that we haven't done, which we might need to look at, but I think people like doing a Rocky Horror Picture Show over Halloween season at the Horror Fest. Yeah. But technically, we can do Rocky Horror at the screen.
You could,
because hey,
music.
It's one of the best musicals ever made. So
yeah. I mean, there's always something interesting to watch at these festivals. I mean, obviously having it streamed makes it easier for you to kind of pick out which of these sort of many different genres, or which sort of subject matter sort of appeals to
Yeah.
you, or like interests you more than
I
others.
argue that you must just get a full. That's actually what I wanted to say when I was talking about the streaming services. It always comes back. That's why, I mean, it's $175 for a full festival pass.
Yeah.
So what's that, like 2 random movie or something?
It's like 3 random movie. If it's 50, if it's about 50 plus movies, you're gonna like 3 random movie.
Well, some are short, some are feature films, but I guess the movie's a movie.
Yeah.
So yeah,
but I mean,
even for a short, three
that's
rand
a
is
hell of a
not cool.
deal. I think that's probably what you'd pay for a month of a streaming service for some of them.
I mean, that's why we just, because initially the very first Horror Fest, when we did it with the guys from Fright Fan, you know, it was just priced too high for someone to dedicate themselves to a week or 10 days and, you know, spend that money and just sit there watching. I know you can do that, and you like doing that, but not everyone does that.
I struggled. Like it started feeling like work. It was like, I've got to get in through the rest. I've got 10 more movies, and I've only got 3 days left. I need to organize my life.
Start prioritizing them.
Like, okay, somebody else is making dinner. Someone else is making dinner. I'm maybe skiving an hour off of like family time or whatever, or like someone's gonna have to look after the cats, or the cat's gonna have to look after themselves. But like, I'm gonna fit time in.
No, that's cool. No, I like that. It's cool, man. But so we just decided. I mean, it's like, I think it's 25 rand per movie if you want to do one at a time. But you know, we just thought, just if it's 175, anyone that complains about that, you're not interested anyway. So we just thought, let's just do that, and at least get as many people who want to watch any of these movies, because maybe someone's got 5, 6 movies they want to watch. So might as well just get the whole thing, and then you can drop in whenever you want and watch some more.
I mean,
because it's such a cool batch of movies.
I mean, if you do end up just watching 5 movies, or if you get the festival pass with just 5 movies, and you end up like watching one of the other ones, you haven't really lost anything at that point.
No, for sure. It's worth it. But I mean, actually, what I wanted to say was, just often you think, man, you like you're not worry, but like wonder, are we actually going to get cool movies this year? Because you just don't know what's going to pop into the submissions, and it ends up, when you're wondering if there'll be anything, you end up with too much. I mean, it's always too much, but like, you know, this time we just, man, I'm gonna have to. It's so difficult for me to just turning stuff down. That if I like it, I like it, and if I like all of them, I can't screen all of them. So we have to start whittling them down, and that's just heartbreaking sometimes.
One of the films that I remember from previous festivals was the one about the metal scene in Botswana, which was great. I love that. That was
March of the Gods. Italian director. They actually flew out for it as well.
Yeah, because I mean, I remember sort of just being quite impressed by the fact that they went like Rust went to, which is one of the bands that was featured. They went to perform in Johannesburg, and all the guys were like, "Wow, that was actually much better than I expected." I was like, they were absolutely better than anything else on the bill. Which is great. Great.
People don't expect. I mean, there's some bands from Malaysia and India, some excellent metal bands that you just don't know about. But then, you know, just like all of these movies at the Sound on Screen or the Horror Fest, it's stuff that if you don't go look for it, you don't find it, because there's just too much out there. It's just become, and you know, that's a good thing about some of the streaming and YouTube and Spotify and Apple Music, and you know, anyone can get the music out there, which is great, but it just makes it so much harder to weed through what you like. Because I mean, a lot of it isn't great. But it might have cool cover artwork. And you check it out. It's like, okay, maybe not. So, whatever your taste is, of course. I mean, someone else might love it. So, but that's it's our crosses we have to bear in entertaining ourselves, trying to find exactly the right thing.
Yeah. But I mean, that's also one of the benefits of a festival like this, is it's been curated by people who are, you know, looking out for interesting things, you know, genres or bands or stories that you haven't heard before that, you know, people would find interesting, or may stumble across some music that they actually really like.
And I mean, even if it, you know, just a lot of it, it's like like people who like documentaries. I mean, most of these movies are documentaries. If you don't have to be a specific fan of a specific genre or a type of band or anything like that, because I mean, these are documentaries about interesting things.
You
know, like we have 2 movies about like teaching music. We've lumped those together. One called Chameleons from Austria and one called Unseen from Russia. But music students, and it's you know, it's just absolutely anything and everything. We've got thing on a German big band that travels to Mali to go record with some of these classic guys, and we paired that up. We paired that up with a shorter one called TIMBILA, about it's like a xylophone instrument. And you know, it's just like interesting stuff that I mean, it just needs to, the music is kind of like the bonus, because music is so universal. And these are all, at the end of the day, these are all stories, whether it's narrative stories or real life documentary stories. It's just such a cool thing to experience. Another movie that will be a free to view one is a documentary on the Ventures.
Yes, I saw that one. I'm quite keen on seeing that one.
So that will be like a freebie that people can check out. It's but they did that Hawaii 5-0 theme song that everyone should know. If you don't know it, go find the Ventures Hawaii 5-0 theme, and then starts with a drum roll.
That's
and
definitely
there's Hawaiian surf guitars. So I mean, they're like the biggest instrumental band in history. They've released like hundreds of albums. It's ridiculous.
Surf rock.
Another some very cool stuff. Another cool documentary that we've got is Phoenix. It's about a fireman. There was the Natural History Museum burnt down in Brazil. And it was a big fucking disaster. I remember actually seeing it on the news. And this one fireman, he went in there and salvaged wood. And took it to guys, and they build guitars and instruments from this wood salvaged from the museum. So it's sort of like literally rising from the ashes kind of thing. And then they go perform in the building where they're sort of renovating it. So it's you know, it's cool music linked stories like that. And and for the like you said, there aren't too many metal kind of subjects, but there's a sort of a kind of a punk rock, also very different than you'd expect as well. Usually it's not the US or in the UK, but Furious and Fast. It's an Israeli documentary about a very famous punk rock club in Israel, and the record label that went with it, and some of the bands. It's just stuff that bands and things that I never even heard of. So it's so cool to like kind of discover it as you watch these submissions. And then just thinking, you know, people will love watching it. So just get their asses in gear and do it. But obviously, so, I mean, last year we had some pandemic related movies as well. Obviously, one from Turkey, and this year we've got one. What's it called? 500 Days of Silence. It's about a band, the Black Mood. They sort of just started kind of hitting their stride, and then pandemic hit. But it's not just on this band. They've got interviews with some big names like Corey Taylor from Slipknot, Sammy Hagar on the bassist from Van Halen, from REO Speedwagon, a whole bunch of big bands. They interview about the impact it had on bands just not being able to play live with lockdowns and stuff. Because most bands, they don't get radio airplay, and get like payouts from Samro and those places. So you know, they have to go the DIY route, which is what I mean, been doing that since the late 80s, like with V.O.D. So it's a sort of used to it. But I mean, someone who might go into it thinking that, you know, I have this rose tinted glass idea of becoming this huge pop star. It's not always going to work out that way. Did you ever see Heavy Metal Parking Lot? It's the short they made outside a stadium where Judas Priest played, somewhere in the, I think it's like just sort of 1980, 82 maybe.
No, I don't think so.
But it's basically just with video camera going around talking to all the people in the parking lot, like, yeah, man, heavy metal rules. You should be able to find that on YouTube, Heavy Metal Parking Lot. But a short that we're screening, like I said, one of the few metal related things is Stoned to the Bone. It's a short.
Yes.
Very, 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 very similar to Heavy Metal Parking Lot.
Okay.
They like it's like somewhere in Maryland where they had this sort of festival out in the bush.
Yeah.
And it's people drinking beer and this stage, and you don't see any bands playing. I think the band Pentagram is like setting up there.
Okay.
Actually, most of it's just guys walking around. They stole a CBS microphone from some political Reagan's thing.
Inauguration.
Yeah, and they go around interviewing people pretending to be from CBS.
I found the film synopsis after I think half an hour of Googling, and I was like, okay, stealing anything from the Reagan inauguration that gets my seal of approval. I'm on board. I'm on board with this.
And we actually matched this with, because it's a short, we added it to a documentary called a band from Boston called the Dogmatics.
Oh,
like a kind of punk rock band. So we're adding that, and it's the same guy who made it, Rudy Childs. We screened quite a few of his movies in the past. At the Sound on Screen, he'd make sort of obscure 80s metal band documentaries and stuff. So we've had a few of his movies in the past. So he sent us this feature film and the short, so we still just fit together nicely.
Okay.
That's sort of more the heavier edge side, whereas I said, I mean, we even have a movie on Cajun music, and how that's sort of starting to roots of fire. In Louisiana, that is kind of sort of starting to peter out. People who are really into it are getting older and dying off now. You know, so it's becoming like a bit of a rarity where it used to be quite a huge thing. And interesting stuff, man.
And then on the opposite side of the spectrum, of course, you also have the documentary about the UK jazz scene, which I was very surprised by. It was like,
there's some interesting, very, very interesting stuff. Sort of like new style of just, it's very exciting. I mean, it's I can't remember the name of the bands that they feature there, but it's this radio DJ. She's very into it, and they sort of have her interviewing people and just introducing them to this new kind of jazz. It's not the way most people would think jazz is. It's some extremely energetic and sort of percussive and
interesting.
Very, very cool. And I paired that with what is it? Rotten Hill Gang, because that's only about a 5-minute piece. So I've got just these sort of two new British flavored stuff we added together. And we kind of give them all headings, like the art of teaching. Those are the 2 teaching ones, where people will, if they go to the website or to the cricket page, they'll soon discover when they go when they're faced with this list
it's long. It's a long list.
A monster. I don't know why I did that, but I had to.
Well, the advantage of that is that you don't have to do what I did, was just go searching the internet for for the title and hoping you'll find some information, because as I discovered, like a lot of these things, there is no information online about them yet.
But we've got all the cricket page. It's updated now, so it's got all the details that you want or need. And we've also got some animated shorts one called Slouch. It's like this guy's, he's in this band, and he's got this muse thing kind of stuck to his neck that kind of inspires him. And his girlfriend, I think his girlfriend's pregnant, and he wants to become a big rock star, and he gets this big record deal. So it's this little story. And there's another one from New Zealand called Pearl. It's a girl. She doesn't speak. She communicates through sound. So it's also not just music related, also sound. Any kind of thing that is sound related, we also incorporate.
Well, I mean, it is the sound on screen festival, so you can get away with that kind of thing.
Yeah,
only once or twice, though.
Anything that your ears can catch. It's a free for all when it comes to that. We're not so set. It doesn't have to have a tune if it's something sound related. I mean, also actually one that I forgot to mention, which is sound related, is the Music Power, the Capital Radio 604 story.
Yes, so that's one that has more of a local connection in terms of the story.
Yeah, and I mean, it's radio, and it was a music station. Obviously, it's not about music, but it's about the radio station. They started in, I think, were they in the Transkei? Where did they start? Sort of one of the homelands as like a pirate station, kind of fronting as a music station, playing the best music. But then, obviously, the apartheid government was kind of suppressing news. So they then, for their news broadcast, they had like the real news. In between the music. So that's a very, very interesting story. It's very worthwhile watching, because I remember Capital 604 from the 80s. I just remember I mean, we listened to Radio 5 back then.
Yes.
I think that was about because they had sort of rock radio, even Barney Simon and Chris Pryor, Full Rock. They played rock and metal and stuff that we liked. But I always remembered, I just knew about Capital Radio 604. And so it was very, very interesting getting the whole story behind it. And, guys got threatened by the secret police and all kinds of hazards doing what they did to have a radio station that actually gave people the real news.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's just getting back to the overall sort of lineup of the festival. I mean, it does seem like diversity was a big part of your approach to putting the lineup together. Was that deliberate, or was it just?
No, it's always just like with the Horror Fest, Celluloid, same thing. We don't just want a bunch of found footage movies or a bunch of slasher movies, or it's gotta spread it out and make it interesting. So the more diverse, I just think the better, personally. Because also, I mean, you can't just cater to the guys who want to watch metal subjects, because they're also limited, or just classical. We've got this classical music. Everything is in here. Like I say, it would be difficult for someone to find a genre and say, "Oh no, my favorite genre isn't in there."
Yeah. I mean,
okay, there's nothing about boy bands, which is fine. That's the one. I guess, is boy band a genre? I guess that's pop, eh?
Pop. I think that I would say that there's probably a more specific genre, but I don't know what I would call it.
Yeah, it's pop music.
I would just stuff I would avoid, basically.
Radio pop. Yeah. I mean, I guess sometimes it got sort of modern R&B kind of stuff in there, but not enough for it to go beyond it's pop. Beyonce's pop. I know they probably call that R&B, isn't it?
Well, I don't know. I mean, the moment you start thinking about genre too much, it starts breaking your head.
No. But like I say, we like, if I listen to it and I like it, I don't care what you call it. So it can be absolutely anything and everything. So we watch and listen to whatever we like, and don't let anyone tell you not to do that. So it's up to you what you like. So we just, for our festivals, we just lump certain types of things together, and hey, if you like those, then check them out.
So in terms of nationalities, there's Australia, there's Austria, Brazil, Cyprus, Estonia, France, Israel, Lebanon, Malaysia, Mali, Mozambique, Norway, Portugal, Russia, Sicily, Spain, and the Ukraine. That is a
and
long list.
obviously USA and the UK.
Yeah. Well, I didn't mention them because who cares about them?
It's but those are obvious ones. And
yeah,
I can't remember. Yeah, I think it's Spain. Yeah, it covers the globe. It's cool. I like it like that.
Yeah, I mean that's a substantial number of countries. And I mean, these are all people that submitted their films to the festival, correct?
Yep.
So I mean, it is also quite a testament to your festival's longevity in terms of like having that kind of a reach. It's like the more diverse movies you end up showing, the more people will be interested in like submitting stuff to you, because there's
for sure. And I mean, and when people submit it through like a submission service like Film Freeway or Fest Home or Click for Festivals, these are the ones that really, I mean, they have to kind of pay to store the movie then, and they submit it to various festivals. So so there's cost involved in them. So they have to think about it, and they're not just throwing it around left and right. It's and especially if you're an indie movie, to work that into your budget, it's all this cost adds up. I mean, we try to make it as easy as possible for people to get their movies to our festivals. So we don't want to screw them. But when it gets late, like especially the horror fest, you have to sort of have a late fee, because it's crunch time, and now you have to watch another movie and maybe add it to the lineup. So it's it becomes a bit
now you have to
hair-raising.
Now you have to watch another movie, decide if it goes in, and then still do all the preparation and the marketing for the festival that you've already.
And then sometimes, if it's a case of we get the movie and it's so good that we might have to bump one that we already selected, but obviously we don't tell people, hey, you've been selected, and say, oh no, you've been as well. Before we make any announcements, we just constantly have to juggle.
That would be rough. That would be rough. That would not go down well, I don't think.
That's not on the agenda ever. So
yeah. But I mean, I think that's also part of just like the professionalism with which the festival is run. I think makes a big difference, because it's not just.
I mean, we appreciate the time and the effort and the money and the blood, sweat, and tears that people put into making these movies. That we take it seriously. We don't just go, whatever. We watch them, and we judge them fairly. But then also in the back of the mind is, when you weigh movies that are sort of close, how are you now going to decide which one? It's we hate doing that. I absolutely hate that. So. I should maybe. Well, I think what I should do is get someone else in as well too, because just Sonia and I doing these. When it comes to the final judging of stuff, we get the other for the Horror Fest. Obviously, they get the extra jury members in to then pick from those. But I think what I should do is have my short list and then get someone else in to pick X amount. I'm not going to decide. So, because it really becomes difficult.
No, I'm sure once you become attached to a film, it's like, well, I really want to show this one. Like, I want more people to see this, or I want more people to know about this story. Or
that's why it's so often we decide, okay, when we have like a rough idea of, for example, I mean, it isn't a dozen movies, but we decide, okay, we're going to narrow down to a dozen movies, but then it rolls over. it never sticks to a short list that we planned. It always goes over.
How did 12 become 24? We'll never know.
Just like that. That's how.
We'll never know.
people make good movies. That's so that's at least it's a cool thing.
Yeah.
And then hopefully, you know, just hopefully we do our little part as well. That if, you know, they have their official selection from our festival to add onto their posters, adds to the movie scope and people taking it more seriously, or if we give them an award for best movie, best actor, best editing, effects, whatever, or cinematography, you know, that's something that they can add into the promo of the movie, that you know, the movie is worth watching, it's got merit, and these film festivals acknowledged it. So that's a big part of what we like about doing that. So it's we acknowledge people for the hard work that they put into indie movies that are usually self-funded or crowd-funded, or you know, people mortgage their houses and sometimes go a bit crazy because they believe in these stories that they want to tell. And you know, we feel then it's our responsibility to get people to see these stories, and from there it's up to the viewer to actually do that.
And when we've seen enough local filmmakers like coming to like one of the many festivals and like getting an award, and then like a couple of years later you end up seeing them somewhere else and they're doing another film, or they've like they're making a career out of it.
I mean, like one of our became a very good friend of ours, Leon Visser. Him and Marnus Trudeau, they were just sort of fresh out of after film school. They shot and edited that Horror Fest little teaser clip that we still use with Sonia turning into a werewolf. It still works. We haven't bothered to. I mean, we've done another one with the Ouija board. We were initially we were thinking of doing one every year, which was very ambitious.
Ambitious.
So we'd rather use all those resources to do like a Terminatryx music video and give it like a little horror theme instead. But I mean, that one we're still using it. That's our sort of trademark little Horror Fest clip. And Leon edited it, and Marnus shot it, and Sonia and I directed it. And from there, Leon is now, I mean, he's edited stuff. The movie Gaia. I don't know if you ever got to see that. He edited
I've heard about
it. He's working on something that's a Netflix production now, and he did a couple of, I think it's Donker Bos, that series on Showmax, like a local kind of dark drama series. So he's won lots of kind of Silver Scarum Fierce awards and stuff. And the Gaia movie screened all over the world. I think they got, who's the distributor for that? Is it XYZ Films, or were the guys that, was it Neon, that do the Brandon Cronenberg movies? So they managed to get quite far with these editing since they were kids out of film school back in 2007 or something. First met them. So
I mean, but that must feel pretty good. Like, you know, to see someone who you've worked with or whose work you've showcased.
No, definitely.
You know, making something out of
it. That was the reason we started the Horror Fest in 2005, was to, besides screen a short film that we made that there was no avenue in South Africa to screen. Well, we'll start our own festival to screen it and get other people, same like-minded people who make odd little things that they just can't screen anywhere, and pop it in there. Obviously, it's changed quite a bit now over the years that, but then there aren't too many film festivals yet, really. Besides, do they still have that surf festival?
I don't think so. I haven't seen that in ages.
Pre-pandemic, they still had it. Obviously, they've got Anand Singh. They've got the South African Film Market thing in Durban. KZN Film Festival. What's it called again? Can't remember. But that's a big. I mean, there they kind of sort of show everything. Whereas back when we did our little horror short, they wouldn't have included that at all. So, but now people can actually try and get it in there. And also, like Ryan Kruger is another one. I think he was still in AFTA when we screened some of these shorts that he made at AFTA, and then went on to do Fried Barry, which had quite an impact around the world at various film festivals. Played some of the biggest film festivals across the world, which is very cool. And obviously at the Horror Fest as well.
Yeah, no, definitely.
Won a couple of awards there for us, obviously. And not just, like we thought, like people can say now, yeah, because it's a South African movie that it got so many of the top awards, but I don't know, it's the one that stood out for us the most.
Yeah.
We had some, we've had some great movies over the years for all our festivals, and a lot of them, most people probably don't even know, like Sky Sharks. I don't know if anyone's actually seen that anywhere besides the Horror Fest, which is crazy. It's like Sharknado meets Iron Sky. You can't go wrong with that.
That's a winner right there.
Yeah.
So I don't know if you remember. I think probably the first time I interviewed, well, I was one of the people interviewing you. That was way back. I was still in like 2000 somewhere. I think it was on maybe the third or the fourth Horror Fest.
What happened to that? Where was that? Where did that go?
That was for Africans. Okay. That site no longer exists.
I don't know if I ever saw that. Do you still have it somewhere on a DOS drive?
I do actually have it. Back in that interview, you and Sonia were talking about how part of what you were doing with the Horror Fest is trying to build that kind of a community for like an alternative music, alternative movies, like just sort of people who are not in this like tight little corporate little mold.
Yeah, we had the little alternative markets outside at the Labe Theatre as well.
Yeah.
Which we haven't done obviously since pre-pandemic. We haven't really done them, but we should maybe look at those again.
But I mean, obviously having the festival move to mostly being online, certainly for the Sound on Screen festival.
Yeah.
I mean, that has made that part of things a little bit more difficult.
Yeah, no, I mean it's also with the Labia Theatre, we can only get the screens that we can get because they have to show that they have to show the commercial movies to stay afloat. So so it was unfortunate we couldn't get any, but now might be this one movie. We'll see.
Yeah,
it'll be nice. We're going to try to do it at the Labia, but there's no guarantee of that. So we'll see how that's going to happen. But it's the thing with the online, with the streaming, at least it reaches. It's nice for it to be this little Cape Town thing, but it feels like such a waste that there are so many. I mean, because we've had with the Horror Fest, lots of people always ask, when you bring the Horror Fest to Joburg, and that's not an easy thing to do. We had some at the Bioscope. We've had
I remember.
We've had a couple of sort of little mini, sort of round about the same time, or just a month later, or different time of the year. We have sort of little batches of movies from the Horror Fest. I think the X Fest. Remember? Did you watch Pervert?
Yes. Yes, I did.
It's like a Russ
love that film.
It was so cool. That one was actually,
that film.
That movie was actually sold out for 2 screenings.
Oh wow! Okay.
Yeah, it was. I think that was the year. That was the year we did the Triple Exorcist as well.
Yeah. I saw that twice.
Yeah, they screened Pervert at Bioscope, but it's also and we're not there, so we can't really plug it the way we want to, or we're not able to do that. It's but they've also apparently their location. They've also now moved to a better spot where it used to be. So I've never been to the Bioscope, but people must check it out. I actually did a podcast with Russell, the guy who runs the Bioscope. He's got a little thing he calls Video Shop. I don't know when that's going to go live. So we also chatted about remembering stuff back then, because then I just send them like a batch of discs, the actual movies from the boxes, send them all up and they screen them there. But so to get back to not being able to screen it to everyone, at least now with the streaming, and someone in Bloemfontein or Mpumalanga or anywhere can access these festivals if they want to. But now this is this is also where the put your money where your mouth is coming from, and people who nag and say, "Oh, when you bring it here, see if these guys actually stream it or not."
Yeah,
doesn't always happen.
Yeah, but I mean, I remember growing up in a small town where we had one video store, and they would get movies. They would get new movies in maybe every 6 months, every 3 months, every 6 months, and then those movies would be booked out for the next like 3 months or 6 months, like every single night. So it was like, and obviously like you did end up forming communities with people who were watching those movies and were interested in the more sort of edgy things or the more interesting sort of non-commercial stuff.
But then that scarcity probably also
that's
piracy probably also comes in much easier that way, when it's something that you just cannot find, and then someone else copied a bunch of movies somewhere and then they bring it in. But I like to my thing is I like to have original copies of stuff. I just that's why I think having your music on a hard drive or like on a streaming location that doesn't have that real feeling personally. But then space is space. Where do you put it all?
Well, I mean, this weekend there's a vinyl sale or a festival thing on at the waterfront as well. So it's like people are still buying the physical media, but I think the trade-off of not having those small spaces with like a tight-knit community of people is that now that you do actually have access to all this stuff from everywhere at the same time, like you were saying at the beginning, it's like, well, we may have lost some stuff, but we've also gained a whole lot of access.
But then, like I say, it's also a case of if you have your stuff on the shelf, it's there to access. Whereas I do have access to 10,000 songs, but it's on a drive, so I don't see it. I forget about it. I don't think about it. And then you just end up listening to your favorites, probably. So
and then three years later, you discover, oh wait, I haven't listened to this band in a while.
Yeah, I mean, the other day I still have so many CDs that it just feels like such a you can't sell them. You're not going to throw them away. It's music. You keep them. But the stuff was the dust, man, in between all the CDs on the shelves. You have to do a serious spring clean to get all that shit going. But I mean, also the thing is with like box sets of stuff, special box sets with cool things. Like we've got like the Phantasm box set is inside the sphere. You just put the little blades in there, all the discs on the inside. Got a Universal Monsters box set. This little Frankenstein's monster bust, Bela Lugosi Dracula bust, and Wolfman. It's got all the Wolfmans, Frankensteins, and Draculas that they made, including the Spanish one, which Dracula, which it's been lying there waiting for us to watch, because when they finished shooting the Bela Lugosi Dracula, after hours they shot the Spanish version.
Oh wow!
With all the same sets. It's a same story in Spanish, but just like a different movie. And some people reckon it's better than the Lugosi one, so we have to judge for ourselves.
Well, definitely. If you do ever watch Blackula 2, Blackula Scream, let me know.
We plan to do it this weekend past, but then we didn't get to it. So we'll definitely get to it.
It's so good. Panther is the best.
So bad it's good.
No, it's actually good. It's it's better than the first one.
Okay.
Very much exploitation film still, but I liked it a lot. So
we'll still get to it.
When are Terminatrix documentary when?
Oh, I don't know. Well, it's our 21st year, so we have to do it this year.
Oh wow! Okay.
Started in 2002.
Wow.
Crazy. Absolutely crazy.
That's been going for a while.
Yeah. Nice shirt you got there.
Yeah, I know.
No, I mean, in fact, if we just you know, that's the thing. We do everything at our pace. We don't answer to anyone. We just enjoy doing it the way we do it. We try not to have too long stretches in between stuff that we do. But yeah, I mean, we did a album release last year of when we was it at it was when we played Metal for Africa. When was that? Was that in October? I can't remember now. But yeah, so we released another album last year. So we'll do some singles and an album, or singles leading up to an album this year again. But I also have another one of our O Positive cover songs, like we did the Seven Nation Army thing Sonia and I did.
Okay.
We did another cover of a song, but that was like still during lockdown, and I mixed it but didn't finish it because it has to have a video to go with it. We can't just do the song. So
okay,
we strictly do it on YouTube because it's a video and it's a cover, and that's that. So we don't have any to get licensing to rights and pay people to do that. So that's a plan with that. And Sonia and Narine's Isabel project still hanging there as well. All the songs recorded. I need to finish mixing that. Oh shit! I haven't done anything for my Fate project in a while. My solo thing. I'll probably have to
so that's F8.
Yeah.
Because I remember we spoke about that in that first interview as well. You were talking about that being one of your projects. So that's also been going for a while then.
Yeah, and next year Makabra Ensemble will be 18 years since we've been doing live movie soundtracks to classic silent films, and every year when we get together we say, okay, we need to now re-record all this stuff at Simon's studio at Sound and Motion and like release them, whether it's for streaming or limited kind of DVD box sets, Blu-ray box sets, something, I don't know. It's something that we talk about every year for like the last 18 years, but we have to now just do it and get it over with, because we only did the Nosferatu live recording DVD, so that's the only one we actually released. And then we also for that first streaming year we did the Cabinet of Dr. Caligari that was shot with multiple cameras as well. So we've had a DVD release of Nosferatu and a streaming festival run of Caligari, but there's Faust, there's Metropolis. We even did that little Frankenstein short, that Edison Frankenstein short. Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, Manchester in Hell, Hexen.
Didn't you also do Phantom of the Opera?
Yeah. Initially, the very first, was it our first horror fest, our second horror fest? The second horror fest, 2007. That's actually how I met Matthijs, plays violin in Makabra Ensemble. Initially, I wanted to get someone to do a live soundtrack to a silent film, and we thought, okay, let's do Phantom of the Opera, because why not? And then Greg Donnelly, and Greg Donnelly, old friend of mine, he was in the band called the Dolly Rockers. Somehow he was still working at EMI, and I was writing lots of reviews and stuff, and I'd pop in there on a Friday and get discs from him to write reviews. And I chatted to them about getting someone who plays violin, and he mentioned this one guy, and this happened to be Matthijs' brother. And then Matthijs' brother wasn't available, so then he passed Matthijs on to us, which was perfectly fine. So then Matthijs, and I think he was still at GCT at the time, had got a bunch of his friends in cello and viola, so it was just like a string quintet doing Phantom of the Opera. I think I shot that on High 8 video, so I must go dig that out as well. But then the year after that, I thought, okay, Sonia and I said, no, we'd be keen to get in on doing that. And you know, it's not just going to be piano or string. Like some people, they do like this old school kind of just playing piano to the Hunchback of Notre Dame, another one we've done. I know there was a woman doing that at some shows. But so we just thought, you know, It doesn't have to sound old school. We can use modern
No.
sound, use absolutely any instrument that you want. And we kind of, Simon Ratcliffe's another old friend. And at the time, Sean Oldham was in Lark with him, and he pulled him in as well. So we just, the Makabra Ensemble got created. And yeah, like I say, it's 17th year. Next year, it's 18. So we have to do something interesting for that. But now, you also kind of start running out of silent films. Well,
Yes.
the very cool ones. There are still lots, but it's just if there's nothing happening, or there's no iconic something about it, or iconic scene like Nosferatu rising out of his coffin, if it's just people talking and looking into each other's eyes, that's not gonna be that's not a Makabra Ensemble movie to do a soundtrack.
It's hard.
I know. What was that? London After Midnight. That's been missing forever. The movie just there are no prints left of this movie. I think it's a Lon Chaney movie. They're only like sort of stills. It's got this top hat. Almost, it seems like a kind of a Jekyll and Hyde type thing. But yeah, it's gone forever. So that's one that would have been cool to do. And the Golem we might look at. But it's also a bit slow paced. So
yeah,
sometimes I kind of, I hate doing that, but sometimes I have to sort of shorten it or kind of speed it up, because sometimes if it's normal speed, the thing's like 2 hours long.
Yeah,
and that's just too much. So you just speed it up a touch, and then it kind of feels like an old movie as well. Because I like people say, oh, is it like a cleaned up version? No, it's scratchy, fucking jumpy. It has to be. It has to be old and mucky, and that's the way I like it anyway.
It has to feel like a movie that you found on a film reel stuck in some relative's attic or whatever that's recently been rediscovered.
Another thing that we did at the last Horror Fest, I don't know if you went to watch the Dracula 16mm.
I did,
version that Marco did for us. We'll see if there's something else we can do. Probably, I'll see what else he's got in his collection, because he's just constantly buying. Sometimes he pays a fortune for these freaking prints from the States, and it's like, I think it's a bit of an addiction that he's got, a celluloid addiction. By buying these rare classic films on film, because it doesn't exist anymore. So that's also a cool addiction. I mean, I should have checked to see, but then we couldn't get any cinema slots this year. But down the line, I mean, whatever movies he's got on 16mm, we'll see if we can incorporate it in our other festivals as well. That's what we did with Celluloid. We did a little test drive with it for the monster from the ocean floor, I think it's called, and the Superman short.
Yes. I was there for that, I think.
Superman in his baggy outfit, black and white TV show. Yeah, that was great.
It's like, wow, okay, special effects, huh? You should get some.
Is it a bird? Is it a plane? It was classic.
It's ridiculous. Anyway,
2 seconds. 2 seconds of a real octopus monster from the ocean floor.
It was glorious, though.
Roger Corman's first directed movie. He's done a couple of hundred since then.
Yep. Well, I mean, the octopus effects in that film were actually better than the octopus effects in Plan 9 from Outer Space. So, not that bad.
Hey, but Plan 9, that's one thing we didn't have Plan 9. We didn't have Plan 9 the previous Celluloid. We have to do it again for this year.
Yeah,
not enough
something
people
to behold on the big screen.
That's the thing. Not enough people have seen it. Not enough people are aware that they should see it.
Yeah,
but I've seen it. No, but you haven't watched it in the cinema with everyone watching it.
It's different. Like all the continuity areas are just so much starker.
Yeah, and it's okay. It's not Rocky Horror Picture Show, but it's like that kind of communal vibe that you have to experience at least once.
Yeah, I think it's the effect of being in the cinema and just sort of having this hallucinatory experience, just being like thrown at you, and it's just like, wait, Did I just see that? Did that just happen?
But the thing is, we always think, okay, now we probably can't. If you watch it again, and it's just so cool watching it. Every time you watch it, it's so cool. Yep, Plan 9. We have to do it for the next Celluloid, I hope.
Yeah.
If we can get enough cinema slots, yeah.
Well, this one coming up then.
Yep, September. We'll see. We'll see.
Yeah. Okay, so sound on screen. Anything? Is there anything else that you want people to know about?
Take a couple of minutes. Go check out the list of movies. There's such cool, interesting stuff. I mean, it's entertaining. It's enlightening. Some of it's eye-opening. Some of it is just like, what the hell? I didn't know about this. You know? So it's just a very, very cool list of movies. Just go check it out and page through it, and you'll realize there's actually quite a few movies that you don't just want to watch, but that you have to watch.
Yeah.
And after this festival, I don't know where you would be able to find them, because they're not going to be on circuit in any cinema, except for the Spinning Gold movie. But you'll get to see it. You'll get to see it before it gets released at our festival, whichever date it's going to be, somewhere across the 7th or the 9th of April. But yeah, so I don't know when or where you'll get to see these movies ever. Unless you go look for them. But now you've got a chance to check them across like 10 days. So lots of time to check them out. And I mean, yeah, the best spot, if you go search Sound on Screen at Quicket, because you book at Quicket and it streams at Quicket as well. So it's not like you get sent somewhere else, except for the Free Ventures documentary that will send you to another spot.
Okay.
It's not going to be on the platform. And so if that be at Quicket, otherwise flamedrop.com/SOS, stands for Sound on Screen. And Sound on Screen on Facebook. On Instagram, we use our Terminatryx account for that. I've got so many freaking accounts. I don't want to, like, our Terminatrix Twitter and Instagram account, that's a Sound on Screen account over the time of Sound on Screen.
Okay.
Just managing all of these profiles is just
fair enough.
Too much.
Yeah.
But and then also our all the trailers and stuff will go on our Flame Drop Productions YouTube channel.
Okay.
So we've done a couple of video clips of the selections. Like the first selection, and then the second one where some of the movies dropped out with the cinema screenings. So we'll be just finished editing a longer one with actual, because the other one it's just the posters of the movies, just to give people an idea of it. But now I've just finished editing one with clips from the movie, so I have to also try and keep it in, so it's not a 20-minute trailer. So it's like a 4 or 5 minute piece, so you can at least get a glimpse of what these movies look like
5 hours later.
And I'll probably, and we actually, it's cool, the library said we can actually pop a trailer up at the cinema, although we're not screening cinema screening, we can pop a trailer before the movies as well, so I'll get that down there hopefully this weekend.
That's very nice,
depending on getting this edit finished. But we'll see how it goes. And like I said, it's $25 a movie, or $175 for the entire freaking shebang.
10 days of movies. That's quite a bargain. And because it's such a diverse lineup, there will be something for everybody.
Definitely. Like I said, even some little horror bits. Like in the 15 shorts movies have a couple of ones with a bit of a horror flavor in there. Which includes we threw in our Terminatryx Psyker music video as well. So if you're offended by pole dancers and vampires, you probably shouldn't watch that. But otherwise, go mad.
Yeah, cool. And I'm really looking forward to it, obviously. So good luck with the rest of your organizing and all the other stuff that you're doing in between all these festivals. And we'll have to do another one of these things but definitely before Celluloid, possibly before then.
No, whenever. Always good to chat.
Yeah.
Thanks, man.
Cool.
Cheers.
Good luck.
Bye.
Okay.